He doesn't want to say it, but the anchovies were not to his taste. Too salty. He finds solace in the wine, however, a fine vintage. Light, full-bodied, not too sweet. He sips from his glass and listens half-heartedly to the chatter, his mind in conflict with itself. Not to worry, he tells himself. Nino will surely pay his share of the cost of this fine meal. He chides himself for thinking these thoughts. Being suspicious of others is a character flaw that has plagued him all his life. He must attempt to be more like Lenny. Look at him, poor guileless man, so benign and naive. He has never had the pleasure of drinking and eating in such elegant surroundings. Carlo appears, announcing, filetti di baccalà. In Roma, fish is God. He pats Lenny's shoulder. Taste, my friend, then tell me what you think. Taste the fish? Me? Sì, signore, per favore. Lenny pulls off his cap, turns it around on his head, then lifts the fork to his lips, places a choice piece on his tongue, closes his eyes, and chews. Cod fried in olive oil, Nino explains. The fish looks deliciously moist, the butter perfectly crisp. Bernard's mouth waters as he stares at Lenny, chewing and chewing and chewing. Well, he asks impatiently. Lenny opens his eyes. They are filled with wonder. Wicked, he says with rapture. All those eyes on him. He seems in love with everyone and everything. Carlo claps and shouts, Mangiate, mangiate, buon appetito, then goes on about his business. You always eat with your hat on? Nino asks. Keeps the ideas from spilling out, Lenny says. He raises the cap into the air and adds, it's called a salt and pepper and roll on the rock. The rock? My old man was a Nufi. Enough of Lenny's family history, Bernard says, as he lifts a forkful of the filetti to his lips, closes his eyes, and swoons. Délicieux, he says in wonder. Nino, encouraged by his exuberance, claps for the waiter's attention. Chianti, he shouts, placing the tips of his fingers to his lips and letting them carry a kiss into the air. Nino, do not misunderstand me, but some moderation would be best. Oh, I'm sorry, Bernard. I thought you, of all people, would want a good wine with your main course. I do, of course. I apologize. This young man knows how to use charm to intimidate, he thinks. You won't regret it. Tell us, Bernard, have you been to Italy? Never. I've missed so much in my life. La France, l'Allemagne. Can you imagine the food in Asia? Nino exclaims. Bernard sighs deeply. My wife, Solange, went to all those places. Ella, that was before I met her. Thailand, the mountains of Nepal. She spoke of India with reference and delight. Sounds like an interesting lady. Carlo approaches, points to an empty chair. With your permission, he asks. Bernard jumps to his feet, pulls the chairs out for him. We would be honored. Grazie. Have a glass of wine, why don't you? Carlo shakes his head. A busy evening? Lenny asks. Carlo nods towards the kitchen. Back there is like General Motors. Production, production, production. Like Ferrari. Lenny corrects him. They stare at him. Nino laughs, and they all join in. You don't say much, Lenny, but when you do... Bernard, smiling, reaches for Lenny's arm. My friend here sits quietly and watches. Then he goes home and writes it all down. So be careful what you say. We are all characters in his novels. I'll certainly be writing about this meal, Lenny says as he places another forkful in his mouth. Carlo nods in appreciation. He is a nervous man, full of repressed energy, always moving, hands, eyes. He raises from the chair, anxious to be back in the kitchen. I might see to the next course, he says, bowing, backing away.